class. I need a class. Anyway, okay, so let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Fabiola Scalon, and welcome to my Substack called the Rio Grande Current. Today, I'm speaking with Griselda Vera, an organizer behind the recent caravan to the Dilley Detention Center and part of what they call the Blue Bunny Brigade. Their work is gaining attention across Texas and the nation with coverage in multiple media outlets, including MSNBC's or MS Now, Rachel Maddow Show. The protest drew attention of political figures, including gubernatorial candidate Gina Hinojosa, who attended the Dilley protest. And I wanted to talk about who she is, how this all got started, and what impact this kind of advocacy is really having. Welcome to my show, Griselda.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. So I'm going to get right to it. For people who are just hearing your name, who is Griselda Vera? What do you do outside of organizing?
Well, I'm a mom. I am, before anything, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a community member. I love my city. And I take care of people. My regular job, I work in customer service, and I've always taken care of people. It's just something that I do.
There you go. It's in your heart. How did all this get started for you? Was there a specific moment that pushed you into this work?
Yeah. So this is honestly, I thought of this like a specific moment. It's always just been who I have always been. It's just who I am as a person, and you can speak to anyone. When I was a little girl in school, I was always taller. So I'm like almost 6 feet. So I'm a tall girl, but I was always like, a taller girl. And I remember I would defend kids that were being bullied all the time. It was like a thing. I have always just been very big on doing the right thing and helping people.
Well, I don't know if you know, but I'm a teacher, and I would have loved you to have had you as my student.
Oh,
Why this issue? There's a lot of things going on. Women's rights, just voter suppression. Why this issue? Immigration and detention. Why was this so important to you personally?
This is so personal to me because I moved here from California maybe like a little over 20 years ago. So in California, I have all these connections with farm workers, with, our neighbors, the jobs that I had, my grandparents are from Mexico, my roots run deep, and this is such an important issue. It is something that we cannot remain silent, and it's just doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Did you think of your child? You said you're a mom?
Yes. I have two grown children. I have a 26-year-old and a 22-year-old. And
you don't look a day after 25.
Thank you. I have two grown children, so now they're like gone out of the house. One of my sons is, he's morenito. He's a little darker complexion. And I remember with the whole Black Lives movement, it was a conversation that I had to have with my son, like, hey, if you get stopped or if this happens, like, this is what you have to do. And it's so incredibly sad. It's not my first time advocating for something. This is who I've always been. It's like just me as a person. I've always stood up for people that are being harmed, and it's personal because these are our neighbors, are good people,
productive community people, and they pay taxes and they help out, and I mean, they would take off the shirt off their back to help anybody as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you had to give your son the talk.
Yes.
Right.
And I worry, he is out working, and I worry.
Is he in California?
He's actually in Texas. Oh. Yeah, he's actually in Texas. But it as a mom, because of the color of his skin, and it's beyond me that we still have to have these conversations.
Yes, I am in a similar position as you, and I know that my son has been targeted and stopped by police, not only because of his skin color, color canela,
Mhm.
but also because he likes to have tattoos.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. It's so scary as moms. Like,
It is, and
all
I
we
feel
want to
sorry.
do is protect our children. And that is all these parents want to do, is protect their children and give them a better life, you
No
know?
matter how old they are. My son
Absolutely.
is, he's already older too, and no matter what, I still worry. So moving on, you call yourselves the Blue Bunny Brigade. Who came up with the name, and what does it represent to you? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So the Blue Bunny Brigade really started in our living room. It was community members that we were seeing the whole Liam Ramos thing, and like, he's in a blue little bunny hat with a Spider-Man backpack in the snow, you know. How can you sleep knowing that that is going on? So I wasn't able to sleep, and I told my wife one day, I was like, I'm gonna call my friends. And like I said, like, the gay rights, gay marriage equality, the Black Lives Matter, all of those movements, like, I was very active when they were happening. So I called my friends from there, my friend Cindy. I said, hey, I can't sleep. How are we going to protect our community, our family members, the people that we live with, that we are just part of our lives, our everyday, the person that's checking out our groceries, the person that's doing our yard, like, how are we going to protect them? And she
Right.
said, you know what? We'll get some people together. And that night, there was maybe about 10 people, 10, 15
That
people.
night, which night?
The night that the Blue Bunny Brigade was born.
Oh, okay, in your living room.
In mine and my wife's living. Yeah.
You invited people over.
We invited people over,
Okay.
and we talked about it as community members. Like, how are we going to do this? We need
That's
to, how are we going to fill in the gaps? And how are we going to protect our community?
right.
And
Our neighbors, right? Our friends, our family. Do you happen to have the hat with you?
I do. Let me grab it.
Can we see it? Oh my goodness. Oh,
This is the hat. And it would have been very easy for us to have ordered this hat, from Amazon or somewhere, right?
no.
But no, we said, no, we want to pour back and be very intentional of how we're moving. And a lady handmade these hats for us, a señora.
Wow.
We handmade them so to help her out. And we have them, and we take donations for them, and people, we give them out, and they'll give us whatever they can. And if they can't, that's fine. But we also give them to politicians to make sure that they are aware. I have pictures of a lot of politicians with this hat.
Yes, that's wonderful. I'll have to say that I saw you when I first saw Blue Bunnies was at the Unidos press conference when they were asking to release 3,000 plus children from the ICE detention centers. And you also had this poster type who's beautiful. Are you an artist? Who
No,
does that?
no, I'm not an artist. I am totally not an artist. Yeah, that poster says Liam belongs to all of us. And yeah,
Okay.
it makes people feel something when they see that, because it's true. Like,
Well, it's just beautiful. I was struck by its beauty, like very, very beautiful. You were at the Raymondville Detention Center advocating for the release of the mariachi students from McAllen ISD. So for those who don't know, there was a family, 3 members of the Mariachi ISD, Mariachi Oro, are in there, and the whole family was detained. The oldest one, who's still in high school, had turned 18, was separated from the family, and he was in Raymondville. And the rest of the family was at the Dilley Detention Center. Was that the first time that you wore the Blue Bunny to protest?
Hat? No, it was not the first time. So our first protest started across from UTRGV, and it was like 5 of us.
Okay.
The hats were not finished then. They weren't finished, but we had our signs, and we were out there. And then we did a protest for Valentine's Day at Southmost in Brownsville.
Okay.
So this was a beautiful protest. It was an action of love for our migrant and families. And we had a couple things in that protest, and that's where we first wore the hats. So we had buckets of flowers, and we were giving out these flowers to the cars that were like pulling out, and we would say, en honor de las flores que dejaron atrás cuando se los robaron. And then we had a card. I know I get so emotional, right? We had a card that was a carta de amor, and it was a big card, and everybody signed it. And that card was given to a family that night for Valentine's Day, a migrant family that was affected by.
Wow. Well, I can't talk now. So you're at the Raymondville Detention Center. Walk me through that. What happened there? Walk me through the process.
Well, so when all this hit, I was in California visiting a great friend of ours, and me and my wife were there. And then my phone starts going off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. We were coming home the next day, and somebody had already organized a protest the day prior. So we landed at like 11 o'clock at night, and then the next morning we headed out, and we're like, we're gonna do this. And the Blue Bunnies showed up with their hats and our megaphones, and we were just out there. And then we seen that Monica de la Cruz put their podium, she put her podium there, and I was like, oh no, not on my watch, honey. I made sure I had my megaphone, and I was like, all the media was there. All the media was there.
Juan Quiñones.
Yes. A lot of media was there. And I was on that megaphone. Me and my other Blue Bunny, Lemmy, we're always on the megaphones. And I remember her like trying to get in, and they had to unlock it. And I was on the megaphone telling her, you voted for these policies. You are the reason that his family is going through this. And in November, we're going to remember, and we're voting you out. I remember just saying that over and over.
And just for the people that don't know, she had welcomed them in her office in Washington, D.C., because they are a magnificent group.
These are just great human beings. The mom, the dad, and the brothers. They're just fun. I had the pleasure of meeting them, and they're just good people that are talented, that are just trying to make a better life for themselves. She came out with him, and she said, my friend, and yeah, we were not having it. My friend Marcos Velez, he's also running. He was there at that protest, and we made sure that she knew where we stood on the issue. She didn't take any questions or anything. She took off. It was like real quick, took off. And what we learned from that is that when media is involved, when there's a lot of eyes on these cases, it puts pressure on these politicians to move. And right now they're in a kind of a tricky spot because November's coming up. So we caught on to that, right? And I said, okay, we're onto something. So when we were leaving, another family came up to us and said, my mom is in there. She's 74 years old. She had a stroke. Please, like almost in tears,
Right.
Please.
I think this is Julio Salinas, who's also running for Congress. Yes. That's his aunt.
That's his aunt. So her daughters were there. They were there to visit her, right? And she came up to me and she said, please help my mom. And I said, of course, we will do a protest. So we organized a protest. Monica wasn't really responding to their request. Of course, it wasn't out there type of thing. And I said, okay, we're going to go to Monica's office with a protest. And we went and we took media with us. Her doors were locked.
Did you tell them in advance, Monica de la Cruz's office, that you were wanting a visit?
We did not tell them in advance, but her family had already reached out. They had already tried to reach out. We didn't give them the information that we're going to go do a protest, right? Well, San Juanita was released that day. So
Oh,
she wasn't released that day, but they had
hmm.
granted her to be released. That it took a couple of days. It's like a process, but
in her
we
case, in her case, she was coming and going to Mexico. I mean, she was here legally.
Mhm.
She is
Yeah,
here legally.
she was here legally, and there was yeah. It's just very unfortunate, you know. And I remember thinking, man, if that was my grandma or my mom, I would move mountains, and I would. It just moves me, like these families, you know, this is their whole life, you know, and it's just destroyed. And for what? To line the pockets of these corporations that are making money off of our families that are filling these beds.
Well, I hear that 70% of the people who are detained are in this private concentration camps.
Yeah, CoreCivic.
70% of them.
And we need to speak about that because I think it's very important to educate and let people know that this is happening. Like a lot of people don't know, and I'm like, how do you not know? But it's because this is our, you know, we're in it and we're studying and we're trying to find stuff. But a lot of regular people are just like living their lives.
Look, the reason I am doing this Substack, this newsletter, and these interviews is because I don't see the media really, our local media, going after stories like this. They publish something really quickly and off it goes. When's the next? When's the next? We are not having conversations.
Yeah.
We're
So
not having conversations like this.
absolutely, the media is very censored. I've seen it myself firsthand. So when we were at the El Valle, there was a lot of media there, and one of the news reporters, she posted a thing and she said, "It's been a very quiet day here in El Valle." So I had video of us chanting, and I posted underneath that, and I said, "It absolutely has not been a quiet day.
Quiet.
And this is what's going on." And I encourage anyone that is an activist or that is out here doing the work, record everything, because they are very limited to what they can release and what they can't release. And I noticed it. I have a sign that says, "Trump, keep your hands off our children." And then I have one that says, "ICE, keep your hands off our children." And I noticed that day that they would not run the Trump, "keep your hands off our children." So it is important that we understand that the media right now is very censored, and not because they want to be censored. It's just because whoever's controlling the media that has the money is controlling what can be, you know,
It's
put
who
out.
owns the media. It seems, I think I wrote somewhere, maybe I didn't, maybe I was just thinking, oh no, I did. I had an interview with an activist who she's already 70, 80 years old. And she said that the media today is owned by the government, and it's not supposed to be that way. And so therefore, if the government controls the media, we're not in a true democracy.
100%.
That's what I feel. And that's what, again, drove me to do this. Like, why are we not hearing about things like this as well? And also social media. That's why I love Substack. Shout out to Substack, because this is mine. This right here is mine. It's not dependent on the algorithms of Facebook or all these other social media platforms. So that's why I encourage people to use Substack or use some other platform that is not owned by Meta. Let me move on. So this is a lot of work. Who's helping you behind the scenes? You did mention that it was a small group. Does everybody have a task? Has it grown into something bigger than you expected? Where are you with this group?
So the Blue Bunnies, we're very unique because there's no hierarchy. There's no, it's just regular community members. There's no leader. There's no, like, it doesn't belong to someone. It's not an organization. We are a group of regular community members. There's no ego in it. There's no like, I did this or I did this. Everyone just rolls up their sleeves and does what they feel that they can do, you know.
I love what you do with your flyers, because you are including anyone who is helping and promoting your events. And I really like that, because it's a true coalition. It's a collective of interested parties, organizers, grassroots, and just community members. And you showcase all of them. I think that's the way everything should go. Instead of having, like you say, an ego is like, no, only we do it. Only we do that. Or it was us. It doesn't matter. What matters is the work.
what matters is the families,
The
people
work
that,
for the family. Yes.
so it's like so important. And we've seen it with this Dilly action, is that organizations were like, yes, let's jump on in. And it was so beautiful to see.
Tell me about the caravan to Dili. What was the goal going in?
So the goal is to shut down Dili and release our children by Mother's Day. That's the goal. That is like, we need to do that.
What actually happened that day, if you don't mind me asking? What happened that day? So you got there?
So yeah, our caravan took off and other caravans took off. And I remember pulling up we pulled up to a little gas station that's outside of Dili. And we were pulling up and there's this white van with all these beautiful people in it. And I believe they were from Austin, if I'm not mistaken. And I just remember my heart was feeling so full and like, oh my gosh, our first caravan that we're seeing, that's not our caravan. It was so beautiful. It's so beautiful that people can come together for this, to help. Mm-hmm. And so then we pull up and we see all these people out there, and it was beautiful, but it's also so sad. Like I had told my wife, I was like, I feel so like filled, and I also feel so sad that we are at this point that we have to be.
That you have to do that.
That we have to be standing outside of Dili to say, release these children that are in a prison type of thing, that are in these horrible conditions. But it was a beautiful sight to see all these organizations from everywhere. I had people fly in from New York and from Florida. So Mother Forward really took us under their wing, and was helped with. We did a 10,000 moms read letters on the 16th, a few days earlier. And then that was all like just the connection with Mother Forward. They helped us organize that. And I will say this, there is no type of organizers like mothers. I mean,
Mothers Forward.
Like just women, I guess, in general, and women. Mm-hmm.
Where are they based out of? I had never heard of them before.
New York, and they're amazing. And Chio, shout out to her. She just really took us under her wing and was like, here's what we're doing. They flew in. My good friend Jessica Kelly flew in from Florida, and she protests she's like a protest. She's an activist. She protests at Alligator Alcatraz.
She's a pro.
She's a pro, and she's amazing. And she's with Flair USA. So yeah, it was amazing to see like all these people. Yeah.
What do you want people here in the Valley to understand about places like the Dili Detention Center, other than what we hear from congressional oversight visits, that they don't fit, they're in there like sardines? We hear in the news that children are not getting school, they're staying there too long. Anything else that you want people to know about the detention centers?
I want people to know that this is happening in Texas, in our backyard, in the state that we love and we pride ourselves on. We are harming children for money. And how can we be okay with that? I want them to know and to really put a face to it. Like, go in there, and there's letters of these children all over. Just read these letters. I don't care where you stand, on what side you stand on, politically, on what side you stand on. It should never be okay to harm children and innocent people.
Very powerful. Mind you, our backyard, literally here in McAllen, we have a detention center, and another one possibly coming up. The ones in, Los Fresnos, San Benito, Dili. I hear Harlingen is opening up, places. The way they're going about it, very secretly trying to open more of these centers. But let me move on. You are drawing the attention of political candidates. Gina Hinojosa attended the protest, and others, are clearly taking notice. And I'm sure with Bobby Pulido as well, you've already, I think you've developed a relationship with him, or he knows what's going on, especially with the mariachi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He donated money so we can get together after our protest in Dili and have hot dogs, and we fed everyone, and it was beautiful.
I mean,
Yes. Oh, hello. Are you there? Okay, sorry. It closed the screen. Okay.
that's it. Are you
Yeah.
in
Do you want me to
contact
say
with
that?
their campaigns now?
Yeah, I made a lot of really beautiful connections, and politicians it is important to have a good relationship with our politicians. They are in positions where they can push things through and push policies and all of that, and that's a great thing. But I want to be very clear that this isn't about political clout. This is really about helping children that are in prison, pretty much.
I think that that's something that we do need to keep in mind because we fight for our children, our school. There's a big fight about vouchers and providing good education and all these things. Well, what about them? Because they're coming from our schools too. They are, again, as a teacher, I know I had a lot of children whose parents didn't have legal status or mixed status. And they suffer and they're going through a lot of trauma, and extended family as well.
Yeah.
So, hard question. In your opinion, is this going to make a difference, the protest, when it comes to changing how Congress votes? Because at the end of the day, if people don't vote, will this bring out more voters, do you think? That's another fight I have. I feel like, people, please go vote. We gotta vote and be informed. Don't stay home.
I will say this. Every movement, every right that we have, like every movement of rights, civil rights, the right to vote, has started with protests, has started with people standing up and saying, enough is enough. We're not going to take this anymore. Every movement. So yes, protesting does make a change. Courage is contagious. So when somebody sees, I'm not a professional, protester, but when somebody sees that a regular community member goes out there and says, you know what, this is not okay, it gives courage to the next person. We started with 5 people at a protest, and look where we are, and we have
National attention. Yeah.
We have to keep pushing. We have to wait. And protesting applies. It's like, man, we're getting bad, like publicity because
Right.
Texas is a state that prides itself on faith, family, and look how we're treating our children, because these children belong to all of us.
It doesn't match their claims.
No,
It does not match.
yeah.
We want more detention centers and children and families, and they're detained for so long. And again, that 70% of them don't even belong in there.
Yeah.
I like what Talarico says, that this is a fight not between left and right, but between top and bottom.
Yeah.
Right? The rich and the not rich.
100%. We need to get back to just being decent human beings. It's not about like Republican or Democrat or independent. I think we can all jump on the same page and say, we're all okay with deporting criminals. Mm-hmm. We don't want criminals. Like, all of us can say that, right? We're okay with deporting criminals. That is not the case. These are innocent children. Like, I don't care what aisle. And I said this at a commissioners meeting that we had.
Thank you, by the way, for speaking up there.
You're welcome. As I said, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, we're watching you. And if you cannot stand with immigrants and on this issue of protecting innocent children and families, do not come looking for our votes. And I will make sure that I'll be very loud about that.
There you go. Well, Criselda, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you've done, what you're doing. I hope that you take some care of yourself. You need rest.
Yes.
And whatever you need in the future, let me know. Let us know. Give us a heads up so that we can try and inform the people of other things that are happening. I know there's a lot of things happening, so many different things, not just immigration and detention, but the tariffs and the inflation and the war. My goodness. But we'll be here talking forever if
we get on that. Yeah.
We get on that wagon. But
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for using your platform to bring light to this situation and other situations that are affecting our community. It's awesome when I see people that are using their platform for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Take care.
You too.